Hi and welcome to part 2 of my strategy guide for the rise of Rome, and this is where things get interesting. We're going to take on the Ottomans next, and our strategy for that is we're going to wait till they're at war with someone else, and we're going to use the fleet as our wooden wall to block this strait. So we're going to start off by building another galley just in case. We're going to be building them continuously. We need to maintain a larger navy than the Ottomans, and we're gonna get started, and we're gonna see who the Ottomans declare war on before we do anything. So the Ottomans have declared war on Karaman, which means all their troops are going to go down there. We'll leave it a few weeks just to make sure everyone's there. We're going to move our fleet out ready, and it is time to get started. We'll declare war. May as well make Epirus our war goal. We don't have a mission for it, unfortunately. If you do, take it, because it's just a bit of free prestige for what you're going to do anyway. Serbia's not willing to join us, so we won't bother calling them in, and we don't need them. So our first army, we're going to move in here. Ottomans tend to have a lot of revolts, and if there's any in the Greek provinces, we don't care because they're Greek rebels and they're going to be on our side. And up here there's a lot of Hungarian revolts, not Hungarian, Bulgarian, and basically they help us anyway. Anything that weakens the Ottomans is good for us. So we've got those troops moving into Epirus. We're going to move these into Thessaly for starters and get underway. So they've decided to attack our fleet here. That's good. That's one ship down. Their main fleet doesn't look like it's going to be attacking us anytime soon. We'll group these up and we'll detach a siege here and move them into Macedonia. As soon as we can, we're going to build a couple more infantry units. You can see they're having a problem with rebels at the moment, and the rebels will take all the Bulgarian provinces, Sofia, Tarnovo, Burgos and Silistria, and they can't get their army over to attack. So the first thing we do after this war will be to Airfoil Zil. I think the air is quite good. Well, he's not terrible, so we do want him to live, so we'll spend the money. And he died anyway. But that's okay, hopefully we'll get another one. Hopefully we'll get a better one. Does mean we're going to have to take out a loan though, but that's okay, we'll repay that easily once we have our new provinces. You might be tempted to try and take on the Ottoman fleet, and you can win, you can beat them, but don't fall into that trap because you really do need them here blocking the strait. Because if they get troops over, they're easily going to wipe out our armies. So no matter how often you're tempted, don't leave the strait. The siege of Epirus is going quite well. we have 11 galleys. I want to get up to about 15, so we're going to build one more. Here's another strategy that's quite gamey. They have a ship in here. If you go into port, then immediately come out, they will send out that ship. So we've just killed one Ottoman ship for virtually nothing. Got another troop here, so we can actually siege that province properly. And hopefully by the time we take these provinces and Idern, that will be enough. And we'll be able to take all 4 provinces from them. See, they've got their army sitting there waiting to cross the channel. Which is why we don't move our fleet. Albania is now a Greek province, so 0% revolt risk. And we have an heir to the throne, which is great. And he's better at diplomacy, which is good. We're going to need our diplomatic points a fair bit later on. What I actually forgot to do before we started this was to create a claim on Burgess. We can't do that until when we're at war. So as soon as we make peace, we're going to start fabricating claims on Burgess and Sofia, and they're going to be the targets of war number 2. We'll move these guys up to Idern now. We can siege them, and we're going to build another galley. 15 is about the mark we're aiming for now. We've got a diplomatic insult, cause belay on them. Because as the Ottomans, so they've annexed Karaman now, they'll probably annex Adana and Kandahar, and that's going to give them a bigger fleet to work with. So we're going to need to have a superior fleet at all times. So these sieges are going quite well now. Again, don't be tempted to move your navy out of the channel to blockade these ports. So here we've actually got some Greek patriots that are helping us out. They're on our side, and we need all the help we can get, so we're happy with that. Siege of Thessaly is over. And what's so all our troops are now in Idern sieging that, and hopefully that'll give us a high enough war score that we can take these 4 provinces. Idern is a Greek province, but we can't take it yet. We can't take their capital until we've isolated a bit from these provinces, because it's got a land bridge here. We can't take it while that exists. In fact, it might even be later than that, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, every war we fight with the Ottomans, it's going to give us some free war score, so we'll take it. We're going to do that trick again where we go into port and immediately come back out, and that's another light ship down. I'm not sure where their fleet's going. Peasant revolt, that's what we don't want. We do have plenty of manpower at the moment though, so I am going to get rid of them. I was hoping even our Greek patriots would get rid of them, but they're not, unfortunately. when the Ottomans do move their fleet out, sometimes they can transport troops across, but they can only transport 5 at a time, which we can handle. So, but hopefully they won't, because we also need to keep an eye on our manpower. So let's take a look at what the Ottomans are willing to accept at the moment. They're not willing to give us anything at the moment. They'd give us a white piece, that's it. If we look at their war enthusiasm, they're still getting plus 12 from the length of the war, plus 11 now. And once that goes down a bit, we'll be able to make a very nice peace treaty with them. You can see here they've got 26,000 troops just wading across that channel. And the last thing we want to do is give them the opportunity to. So I'll wait for the end of the month and we'll build 2 more galleys. So you can see our fleet is overextended, but it's going to easily be under once we have these 3 coastal provinces, which all add to our naval force limit. We're also slightly over on our army force limit, but that's going to go up as well, so we do have more than we can take, but it's still in a very good, manageable area. So they are willing to give us Epirus now. Not quite willing to give us Thessaly. We've got a war score of 25 and they're not willing to accept a peace offer of 13 yet. But that's going to change fairly dramatically once we take their capital. You can see in here they're getting plus 5 for war enthusiasm because they hold Edirne, and they'll get, I think, minus 5 or minus 10 once we take it. And this is going quite slow. I'd love to be able to move our fleet out of there, but we're not going to break the golden rule. It's up to 13 galleys. Our admiral has died, so we're going to replace him. We'll wait till this galley's built and we'll replace our admiral. They built another light ship, so we're going to do that trick again. You can see there, as soon as that ship was in port, they wanted to cross the channel. Some of these ships are quite badly hurt at the moment. I'm actually going to move them into port and let them heal a bit. If the Ottoman fleet does try and attack us while they're weak, it only takes 2 days to get out of port, so we can handle that quite easily. This siege is taking forever. Can't remember the last time one went so slowly. Serbia has a war with Bosnia, and no, they haven't asked us into the war, so that's good. I was concerned that they'd asked us and I'd forgotten. Learn technology useless. We'll take a prestige hit because we're about to get a fair bit of prestige from winning a war. And still that city will not fall. There we go. Now we'll take a look at what sort of peace they're willing to give us. So they're willing to give us this Thessaly, they're willing to give us Monastir, not quite willing to give us Macedonia yet. So we're just going to wait basically, and if we look at their war enthusiasm, it's still +6 for length of war. So we'll just wait until they are ready to accept that. That second fleet is nearly healed. In fact, I'm gonna pull them back out, just so the Ottomans don't get any crazy ideas. Because we're about to win this war, and we haven't fired a single shot. Which, if we were playing with Lucky Nations on, that would be a achievement on Steam. So they're willing to accept peace now, we're going to take it. And we're done. We'll move them in, let them heal. All of a sudden, our naval force limit is right where we want it to be. We can build 6 new army units, which we will as soon as we have the money. And our empire's starting to get there. The Ottomans are going to have to spend precious manpower and time sieging back these provinces, and quite often their next move will be to declare war on Wallachia. But we're going to save the game there, and we're going to call that the end of part 2, and part 3 we're maybe going to take a couple of these Greek islands and prepare for our second war with the Ottomans. So I'll see you then. Bye.